You're floating alone in the open ocean, and something enormous is rising right beneath your feet. A mouth the size of a garage opens under you. Then the daylight simply vanishes. Congratulations, you've just been swallowed by a whale, so what happens now? Do you get crushed, dissolved, or spat back out alive? Stick around, because one of these actually happened to a real man. First, forget everything the cartoons taught you. Getting swallowed by a whale is nothing like a bedtime story. Let's rewind 10 seconds. You're swimming above a feeding ground, surrounded by a shimmering cloud of tiny fish. You don't see the humpback. It's charging straight up from below at nearly 30 kilometers an hour. This is called a lunge. In one gulp, the whale swallows an area of ocean bigger than itself. Its throat pleats unfold like an accordion, taking in 90,000 liters of water in a single bite. And in that flood of water and fish, there is one accidental snack: you. The force alone is like being hit by a soft, unstoppable wall. You're not bitten, you're vacuumed. But here's the twist that saves your life. This whale cannot actually eat you. A humpback's throat is shockingly small, barely wider than a grapefruit. It's built to strain krill, not to swallow something the size of a person. You are simply too big. So the whale does the only thing it can. It realizes its mistake and gets ready to spit you out. But what if it hadn't been a humpback? What if the whale below you had been a sperm whale? Because the sperm whale is the one animal on Earth that could actually swallow a human whole. It dives 2 kilometers down to hunt giant squid in total darkness. Its throat is wide enough for a human body. So let's do it. Let's say the whale that swallowed you was a sperm whale. Now the real nightmare begins. You slide down a tunnel of muscle in complete darkness, head first toward the stomach. And your first enemy isn't acid or teeth. It's something much simpler. There is no air in here. Your lungs are already burning from the plunge. Inside a whale, there is nothing left to breathe. Most experts agree on this. You would lose consciousness from a lack of oxygen within minutes. But let's say you're holding a lungful of air and you keep falling. You reach the first stomach. A sperm whale has not one stomach, but 4 connected chambers. And the first one does not use acid at all. It's a crushing chamber. Thick muscular walls grind and squeeze food because whales cannot chew. Around you, half-digested giant squid beaks swirl in the gloom. This whale eats a ton of food a day. The temperature is a steady 37 degrees. It's humid, pitch black, and it reeks beyond imagination. And if you survive the crushing, you drift into the second chamber. This is where the acid lives. Whale stomach acid is strong enough to dissolve bone, and the razor-sharp beaks of giant squid. Your skin would start to burn almost immediately. Digestion here is slow, but it is absolutely relentless. So on paper, being swallowed by a sperm whale is a death sentence 3 times over. Suffocation, crushing, acid. Nature designed the perfect trap and you fell right into it. And yet, in the summer of 2021, a man was swallowed by a whale, and he lived to tell the tale. His name is Michael Packard, a lobster diver off the coast of Cape Cod. He was 45 feet down when everything suddenly went dark, and he felt a huge shove. He thought a great white shark had grabbed him, but he felt no teeth, just total crushing blackness. A humpback whale had scooped him up by accident while lunging for fish. Michael was inside its mouth. He could feel the whale's muscles clamping around him. He was sure in that moment that he was going to die. He didn't panic into stillness. He fought. He wriggled and kicked with everything he had left. And that grapefruit-sized throat we talked about, it's exactly what saved him. The whale couldn't swallow. For 30 to 40 terrifying seconds, he was trapped in living darkness. Then the whale surfaced, and in a violent shake of its head, the whale spat him out into the open air. He shot out like a cork. He landed in the water, bruised but alive, and was pulled onto his boat. He'd been swallowed and survived. So if a humpback can't swallow you, and a sperm whale never has, where do the monster stories come from? You've heard of Jonah, swallowed by a great fish and living inside it for 3 days. That's an ancient legend. But in 1891, a sailor named James Bartley supposedly lived the same story for real. The tale says he was swallowed by a sperm whale, cut out alive a day later, his skin bleached white by acid. It's a gripping story. There's just one problem. Historians have found almost no evidence that it's true. Whalers debunked it. The dates don't match. It's almost certainly a legend that grew with every retelling. The truth is far more interesting. No verified case exists of a human being fully swallowed by a whale. Because whales, despite their size, are astonishingly gentle, they almost never mean you any harm. So could you actually survive it the way Michael did? The answer depends on 3 brutal factors. Factor 1, time. A humpback holds you for under a minute before the mistake becomes obvious. Factor 2, air. If you're holding a full breath, your odds skyrocket. If not, seconds matter. Factor 3, panic. Michael survived because he fought instead of freezing. Movement told the whale you're not food. Do all 3 right, and a humpback will almost certainly reject you. You are the world's least appetizing meal. But there is one more way out of a whale, and honestly, it's the grossest escape route imaginable. Whales, when stressed, sometimes vomit up everything in their stomach, and that could include you. It's disgusting, but it's a real exit. You'd rather be whale vomit than whale food. Trust me on that one. And speaking of whale insides, they hide one of the strangest treasures on the planet. Deep in a sperm whale's gut, a waxy gray substance sometimes forms around those sharp squid beaks. It's called ambergris, whale intestinal gold, and it can be worth more than its weight in actual gold. Perfume makers prize it. A single lucky beachcomber has found lumps worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. So a whale can't digest you, but it can accidentally make a fortune. Nature has a strange sense of humor. Now, how worried should you actually be about any of this the next time you go swimming? Basically not at all. The odds of a whale swallowing you are almost impossibly small. Whales use sound to map everything around them. They know exactly where you are, and they avoid you. Michael Packard was a 1 in a billion accident, in murky water, right in the middle of a feeding frenzy. He even went back to diving in the very same waters just weeks later. That's either brave or completely mad. The real danger was never the whale wanting to eat you. It was simply being in the wrong place at the wrong time. Whales are not the monsters of old sailor tales. They are the gentle giants keeping our oceans alive. Their droppings fertilize the plankton that produces a huge share of the oxygen you are breathing right now. So the animal you feared could swallow you is quietly helping you breathe every single day. Which brings us back to you, still bobbing in the open water, watching that giant shadow swim away. You weren't a meal, you were a misunderstanding, and you have one incredible story to tell. So here's the real question to fight about in the comments. Which would you survive? Being swallowed by a sperm whale, or free-falling 5 hours to the bottom of the Mariana Trench? We actually took that terrifying trench trip in our last video. Watch it next if your nerves can handle it. Drop your answer below, whale or trench, and tell us which you'd never survive. Because the ocean is full of things that could end you. and full of gentle giants that never would. The scariest part isn't the teeth, or the acid, or the crushing dark. It's how little we still understand. The next great mystery is out there right now, somewhere in the blue, and we are only just beginning to look. See you on the next deep dive. And hey, maybe don't swim through a bait ball. Subscribe before you resurface.